Hey, welcome to the fifth video in this little mini series that I've created. Now, today, what we're looking at doing is finally overcoming any kind of issues with food. The relationship people tend to have with food is pretty damn catastrophic, to be quite honest, and we need to eradicate this so you can actually enjoy the food that you eat and really just kind of nourish your body well, feel fantastic, look fantastic, and the whole thing kind of falls into place from there. So we're going to break free from restrictive eating kind of patterns, and we're going to find a bit of food freedom in today's training, in today's lesson. So a few common food struggles that people have initially. Guilt and shame. Okay, first up, feeling terrible after eating certain foods. This is super common. People think they've failed. People think they've been bad. People think that enjoying chocolate crisps, cake, all that kind of stuff just should not be a thing. Now, this shame cycle often leads to more problematic eating further down the line. So it's something you need to eradicate. If you think of those foods as bad foods, that is something we need to work on because there is no such thing as bad foods. All right. Emotional eating is the next one up. Now, people who use food to cope with difficult emotions, so to cope with stress, with boredom, with sadness, rather than addressing the actual issue itself, they kind of comfort blanket it with food. So that's something, again, we need to get to the bottom of. So instead of having that comfort with food, we need to find out what is causing that issue initially. Food can become a coping mechanism for any kind of stress or emotional kind of issues rather than for nourishment. And a way I get clients to think about this properly is to just think about their food a bit more. Think about the situation. Do they actually need that bit of chocolate or that cake that day, because more often than not they don't. They just need to have a bit of downtime just to decompress and think about certain things. And then the cheat day mentality. Now, cheat day is such an old school way of looking at stuff. Restricting all week, then binging on forbidden foods during one day of the week or 2 days of the week. It just creates a very unhealthy cycle of deprivation and overindulgence that will really, really damage your relationship with food. And this is something that has been an issue in the past with people, and it's still prominent today. So these struggles aren't a sign of weakness. Please remember that. They are natural responses to a culture that kind of just makes food choices, demonizes food choices, to be quite honest, and promotes restricted eating patterns on a daily basis. So it's not your fault, right? But we need more structure, we need a better system, and there is a better way, and I'm going to show you how. The truth is there are no good or bad foods. Food morality is a myth. Now, food has no moral value, all right? Eating a cake doesn't make you bad, just as eating kale doesn't make you good, okay? This black and white thinking creates a very unnecessary guilt and so much shame. Then we need to get rid of it. So no one should feel shamed about this. Research shows that labeling foods as forbidden actually increases cravings, which does make sense, to be quite honest, and can lead to binge eating when you finally allow yourself to have them. So we need to kind of get rid of that forbidden food kind of thought process. All foods fit into a healthy lifestyle. I include all foods in my lifestyle. I teach my clients to do so. You can do it as well. They all do. When we approach them with awareness rather than judgment. And again, we're just thinking more rationally about foods. And something I incorporate into everything that I teach, especially in regards to nutrition, is 80-20. So it's called the Pareto principle, okay? Now, it means 80% of the foods that you eat are going to be really nourishing, healthy, wholesome foods. 20% are going to be the foods that you don't normally associate with a healthy diet, okay? The foods that are generally forbidden, in air quotes, right? So the 80% is going to be nutrient-dense, whole foods that fuel your body and give you sustained energy. So the foods that we're talking about, healthy, wholesome foods, okay? The 20% is going to be foods that have less nutritional value, you could say, but bring you more satisfaction and more pleasure, because food and eating needs to be a fairly satisfying thing. It's something that we should enjoy because food is fantastic, isn't it? It tastes amazing, makes you feel good, so we need to have a place for it. Now, the 80-20 works because the vast majority of the time, you're eating nourishing food that's really going to help your body and help you achieve your goals, and then 20% of the time, you're giving yourself that bit of flexibility and freedom to go and enjoy your life, but also enjoy food and not feel too restrictive. So it works wonderfully well. Now, this flexible approach is not about perfect precision, it's about creating sustainability and a pattern that's going to honor both your body's needs for nutrition and your mind's need for satisfaction and pleasure. This is what the 80-20 principle does, and it is sensational for doing that. So a few practical tools for food freedom. We're going to have mindful eating. So we're going to slow down, think about the food that you're eating, eliminate distractions, truly experience what you're eating, chew slower, savor every mouthful. Notice flavors, textures, and how your body feels. This practice is going to help you tune into hunger and fullness cues, so you'll know when you're full. Rather than just scoffing it and wolfing it down, you'll know when you're full and you'll really, really enjoy that meal. Then we've got food and neutrality, so we're going to practice removing moral labels with food. So when thoughts like, I shouldn't eat that, arise, challenge them by asking yourself, who says I shouldn't eat that? Reframe foods as simply providing different benefits. So some from a nutritional standpoint, some from an emotional standpoint. Just thinking about food a bit more goes a long way, guys. And then trigger awareness. So we're going to identify situations, emotions, or environments that trigger problematic eating patterns. So create awareness around these triggers. What is triggering you and why does it trigger you? And this will allow you to develop alternative coping strategies rather than just going into the cupboard and eating everything you can see. So these skills and these tools and skills will improve with practice. It's going to take a bit of time, but it will improve with practice. So be patient with yourself, develop them steady and surely, and it's just going to really, really change the game for you in terms of your nutrition. And progress isn't linear, okay? But each step forward is going to build your capacity for food freedom. And when you can get food freedom, it is going to literally, you're going to feel incredible for it. It's going to be such a weight off your shoulders when you do it, especially if you've had a bad relationship with food for the vast majority of your life, like most people have. So your quick win and what's next here. So this week's challenge for you, okay? Well, today's challenge for you is going to be choose one food you typically feel guilty about eating. Set aside time to enjoy it mindfully, without distractions. If I put my teeth back in my mouth, notice the flavors, notice the textures, and enjoy the process, okay? Practice releasing any guilt that arises when you eat this food. So it could be a chocolate bar, it could be a packet of crisps. Enjoy it, okay? There's a place for it in your diet. Record your observations as well. You can write it down in a journal. How did it feel to eat this food? How did you feel about it? How did it feel without judgment? Did you enjoy it more or less than usual? Have a think about it. Think about what you're eating. Really important. And this is going to give you food freedom. And that is a truly transformative thing. So coming up in the final video, we're going to pull all of this together in what I call the transformation code, okay? We're going to pull everything that we've learned so far together into that, and we're going to create you a personalized kind of plan for lasting change, okay? So hopefully this has made sense. This is a crucial video, like they all are, to be honest, but having food freedom for myself personally was massive, and it changed the game for me. So hopefully it can do the same for you. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next and final lesson.